You don't know how long you've been standing in the dark. All you know is the sound. A brittle metallic tick, 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 echoing somewhere beneath your shoes. The beam of your flashlight trembles as you lower it, dust drifting through the cone of pale white light like slow-motion snowfall. The old-school basement stretches around you, a hollow concrete throat swallowing every sound you make. Paint flakes hang from the ceiling like shedding skin. Rusted pipes run along the walls, sweating cold droplets that fall in irregular rhythms. The smell hits you next. Mold, copper, and something faintly sweet, like an apple left out too long. You swallow hard. That sweetness triggers something deep inside you. A memory you can't quite grasp, like a dream dissolving the moment you reach for it. Your hand brushes the wall, it's damp, grit sticks to your palm. Then the ceiling above you groans. A sound like a giant exhaling. You freeze. Something shifts overhead, slow, grinding. And before you can even lift the flashlight. Crack. Concrete dust explodes downward. A panel of shattered plaster slams to the floor inches from your foot. You jerk back, coughing, light bobbing wildly as a rotten wooden beam collapses and punches a crater into the floor. And behind the cloud of dust, you see it. A metal box, half crushed, half buried in debris, but unmistakably real. Your throat tightens, not from fear, something heavier, denser. Because you've seen something like this before. Years ago. Back when your child was still alive. You kneel, fingers trembling as you tug the box free. Rust flakes off in your hands. The lid isn't locked, just stuck. You dig your nails under the edge and pry until the metal groans open with a reluctant screech. Inside is a stack of old cassette tapes. Black plastic, white labels. Most of the handwriting has faded, but you can still make out a date on one of them. 1992. Long before you were even in this school. Long before your kid was born. You pick the tape up carefully, it feels heavier than it should, and run your thumb across the label. The edges are frayed, like someone handled it hundreds of times, maybe thousands. You breathe out slowly. The air leaves your lungs as if it has to fight its way out. You look around. There's no VCR in sight, no TV, nothing but a ruined basement with toppled desks, broken chalk, and the bitter cold of a long-abandoned place. Then your flashlight lands on something across the room. A projector. Old. Green metal. The kind they wheeled into classrooms decades ago. It's facing a cracked white screen hanging from the wall like a ghost sheet. The fabric moves slightly in the draft from the collapsed ceiling, as if breathing. You stand, gripping the cassette. Your shoes grind across shattered plaster as you cross the room. The projector's casing is coated in thick dust, but when you brush your hand across the top, the power switch clicks. You blink. That sound shouldn't be so alive. You try it again. Click. Again. The projector hums. Just for a second. A brief flicker of existence, like it's remembering how to breathe after decades of silence. Then it dies again. Your heart thumps. Once hard. You're not sure why that sound unnerves you more than the ceiling collapse. You plug the old machine into the outlet, it fits, surprisingly, and flip the switch again. A low electric buzz fills the room. The projector light sputters. Then, against all logic, it turns on. A cone of dusty white beams through the air, lighting up a thick silver cloud of floating particles. It looks like a snowstorm trapped inside the basement. You step closer to the screen. The dust dances, swirling like fireflies caught in moonlight. Your pulse beats so loudly you can hear it in your ears. Then, a shape flickers on the projection screen. A line, a shadow, the corner of a room. You reach for the tape. Insert it slowly. Your fingers tremble so hard the cassette almost slips into the machine crooked. You press the play button. A distorted whirring fills the room. The projector shudders. The light rushes forward. Static explodes on the screen. White noise washes over you like a wave. You grit your teeth. A cold pressure creeps along your spine, the kind you get when you feel watched, when you feel the past reaching for you through a crack in the present. The static clears. A room appears. A classroom. Desks in neat rows. A chalkboard with faded writing. Sunlight in the windows. Everything untouched, undamaged, like time forgot to pass there. The camera shakes slightly. Someone behind it is adjusting focus. You line ends. The image sharpens. In the center of the classroom stands a small child. Standing still. Facing the camera. Hands clasped in front of them. Your breath slips out in a shaky thread. You know that posture. Every parent knows the particular stillness a child holds when they're gathering courage to speak. But the face is what turns your bones to liquid. Because it's them. Your child. But small, much smaller than you ever remember them being. Too young. Years younger than the earliest photo you own of them. No. The word barely forms on your lips. Your flashlight dims. Your knees nearly buckle as you step closer to the screen. The child in the video tilts their head, exactly the way your kid used to whenever they were about to ask a difficult question. Then they open their mouths and speak. Their voice is soft, echoing barely above a whisper, but clear enough. Mom, can you hear me? Your heart stops. You stumble forward, hand gripping the edge of a dusty desk to keep yourself upright. The child continues, blinking slowly. If you're watching this, I guess you finally found it. Found it. Your fingers dig into the wood. Your pulse pounds so loudly, it almost drowns out the audio. The child breathes shakily. I don't know how much time I have. They said the message wouldn't last long. Your lungs lock. You can't breathe. You can't think. You can only stare as your child from before they were even born, looks directly into the lens. Directly at you. Their eyes soften. It's okay, really, you made it, you're here. The projector hum rises, as if the machine itself is straining to keep the moment alive. Then the child lifts their hand slowly, reaching forward, toward the lens, toward you, and the screen cuts to black. A single sharp crack echoes as the tape stops. Silence devours the room. You stand frozen, staring at your own reflection in the blank projection screen, dust drifting around you like falling ash. And then, somewhere behind you, in the darkness, something moves. You spin around so fast your flashlight smears a streak of white across the wall. The sound wasn't loud. Just a soft shift, as if someone dragged their shoe across the dust behind you. But in a place this silent, even the smallest movement feels thunderous. Your heartbeat thumps like a fist against your ribs. Hello. Your voice cracks. You hate the way it does that, like you're already breaking. No answer. Only the faint buzz of the projector cooling down, its fan clicking in uneven pulses. The dust in the beam still swirls like something living. You take a slow step toward the back of the basement. Your shoe leaves a trail in the dust. Beside it, another set of impressions. Small, barefoot, leading toward the far wall. You feel the air thicken around your shoulders, like someone just draped a cold blanket across your back. You follow the prints, each step a negotiation between fear and something deeper pulling you forward. When you reach the far corner, you crouch. Run your fingers along the dusty floor. The prints are faint, as if made not moments ago, but years or decades before. Your jaw tightens. You know how grief works, how it sneaks into your senses, turns shadows into hopes, turns silence into voices you want to hear again. But this is not imagination. The prints are real. You straighten slowly. Your flashlight catches something on the wall, etchings carved into the peeling paint. You brush away flakes and reveal lines scratched into the concrete. Numbers. A date. 1992. The same year on the tape. Your breath stutters. Not stopping, just stumbling. You step back from the wall and force yourself to focus. You need to understand what you just saw. What you just heard. Your child's voice. Calling for you. From a tape recorded before they existed. Your fingers twitch. Memory tries to surface again. That sweetness in the air, the apple scent. You know it from somewhere. Your phone vibrates suddenly. The sound nearly knocks the wind out of you. It's so normal, so violently out of place in this rotting space. You fumble it out of your pocket. A notification. Unknown number voicemail. You freeze. The timestamp reads 0002 minutes ago. You stare at the message, thumb hovering. The last voicemail you received after your child died was from the hospital. Sterile voice. Condolences. Paperwork. You haven't opened a voicemail since. Your thumb trembles. Presses play. A soft hiss. Then, breathing. Light. Quiet. A child's breath. Then a whisper. Mom, you're almost there, don't stop. Your knees nearly give out. The phone slips from your hand and thuds into the dust. You choke on the inhale that follows, bending down slowly, too slowly, picking up the phone like it's evidence in a crime scene you can't admit you're part of. Your hands won't stay steady. The edges of the phone dig into your palms. The voicemail has no callback number. No metadata. No playback lengths. Just the message. You swallow the tremor in your throat. You want to scream. You want to run. You want to rewind the tape again and again until you understand. But the projector flickers behind you. A brief burst of light. You whip around. The screen glows for half a second. Not with the classroom scene, but with a different image. A hallway. Long. Dim. Locker doors on both sides. A place that looks exactly like the hallway upstairs in the same school. Then it flickers away. Just a glitch. A hiccup in old wiring. But your gut twists. Because the angle of that hallway was wrong. It wasn't shot from a camera. It looked like a view from someone standing there. Watching. Waiting. You swallow hard. Your flashlight beam trembles against the wall. You need answers. You can't let fear decide the path. You move toward the basement door, a thick wooden slab swollen by moisture. The metal handle is icy cold when you grip it. Your wrist aches as you force it down and push. The door groans open, and a rush of stale air spills over you. The stairwell beyond is narrow, claustrophobic. Your flashlight crawls up each step, revealing grime, peeling paint, handrails rusting from years of disuse. You start climbing. Each footstep echoes like you're inside a giant's ribcage. Halfway up, you stop. Your child's voice echoes in your mind. You made it, you're here. The words twist your insides. Because you weren't there. Not when it mattered. Not when they needed you most. Your grip tightens on the railing. It's slick with condensation. You climb the last steps and push open the first floor door. The hallway stretches ahead. Long, dim, rows of lockers coated in dust. Exactly like the projection flicker. You swallow painfully, throat dry as sand. Then you notice something impossible. One locker door near the middle is slightly open. A thin slice of darkness gapes from it like a mouth mid-breath. You walk toward it, each step feeling heavier than the last. You touch the metal, which is strangely warm beneath your fingertips. Inside, Lying on the bottoms is a small object wrapped in fabric. A child's sweater. You pull it out carefully. It's tiny, blue, soft, the same shade your kid always insisted on wearing during their toddler years. Your vision blurs. You blink hard, pulling the sweater closer to your chest. It's cold, dusty, but the feel of it. It hits you like a memory, slamming into your ribs. Your child, laughing, running through the house in a sweater just like this, arms flapping like wings. You grip the fabric tighter. Then something falls from its folds. A note. You pick it up with hands that no longer feel like they belong to you. It's written in a child's handwriting. Shaky, uneven, but unmistakably familiar. Basement wasn't the only place. Keep going. Your pulse stutters. You whirl around, scanning the hallway, searching for movement, for breath, for anything. Nothing. Just silence. Then your phone vibrates again. Another voicemail. You close your eyes. Exhale once. Your hand trembles as you lift the phone. One new message. Timestamp. Just now. You press play. Static. Then. Please hurry, they're coming. A small gasp. Breathing. Then. A sound behind you. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. Coming down the hallway, one deliberate step at a time. You don't turn immediately. Your heart moves first. It races ahead of your mind. Pounds against your ribs in frantic warning. Then you turn. Slowly. Afraid. The hallway lights flicker overhead. Dust drifts. The footsteps stop. And at the far end of the hall, something stands in the shadows. Small, still, child-sized, watching you, waiting. You stand perfectly still, not because you want to, but because your body refuses to move. The figure at the far end of the hallway is motionless. Small, shaped like a child, its silhouette barely visible in the flickering fluorescent stutter above. Your fingers tighten around the little blue sweater until the fabric creases painfully in your fist. You force a slow breath through your lungs. The air tastes metallic. Your flashlight beam trembles as you lift it, its cone of pale light dragging across the dusty tiles until it touches the shadowed shape. And the lights overhead snap off. All of them. Instant, suffocating darkness swallows the entire hallway. You freeze again. Your breath lodges halfway in your chest. Your ears strain for any sound, breathing, shuffling, a whisper, anything. But the only thing you hear is the low hum of electricity hidden somewhere deep in the walls. Your thumb digs into the flashlight switch. Nothing. It's dead. You swallow, trying to force moisture back into your throat, and begin to step backward. When the lights flash back on, just for a heartbeat, long enough for you to see the figure again. Closer, 20 feet closer. Then darkness again. Your pulse stumbles, losing rhythm like it's forgetting how to beat. You whisper to the air, your voice tiny and tight. Please don't be real. The lights snap on. The figure now stands halfway down the hall. Small, head slightly tilted. Same posture. Still facing you. You can't see its face, but the angle of its shoulders. The way it stands. Your mind tries, against your will, to map your own child's image into that silhouette. The lights die again. Silence presses against your ears like cotton. You take a single step back, then another. Your shoes whisper across the dust. Your body is shaking now. Not from fear exactly, but from the collision of two impossible truths. You saw your child on a tape recorded before they existed. And something is standing in this hallway that shouldn't be. You reach the end of the hall and fumble behind you until your hand meets an open classroom doorway. You slip inside, pressing your back to the wall, clutching the blue sweater against your chest like a life preserver. The darkness settles. Your breathing softens. Seconds pass, maybe only 2, maybe 10, until the lights return. Steady this time. No flicker. You step forward slowly and look out into the hallway. Empty. The figure is gone. A shiver climbs your spine like cold fingertips, but you push yourself out of the classroom and back into the hall. You force each step, grounding it with pressure, weight, presence. The hallway is silent now. Peaceful almost. As if it's pretending. You move toward the locker where you found the sweater, eyes scanning the floor for footprints. There. Faint, dusty impressions. Small. Barefoot. They lie deeper into the school. Toward the iced wing. Toward the classrooms that were sealed off years ago. You follow the footprints. Not quickly, but with a careful, deliberate pace, like walking toward a memory you're not ready to look at directly. Your flashlight flickers back to life with a soft buzz as you tap the handle. The beam glows weak and tired, but it's enough. You round the corner into the East Wing corridor, and immediately smell it. Apples. Faint. Sweet. Rotting slightly, like a lunch left in a desk for too long. Your knees nearly buckle. That smell. You know that smell. Your child used to beg for apple slices every morning before school. You decarve them into little shapes, stars, hearts, crooked letters, just to make them smile. The memory hits you so hard you have to grip a nearby locker to stay upright. Your palm slips slightly. The metal is warm again. You retract your hand quickly, turning to examine it. Handprint. Small. Perfectly formed. Pressed into the dust on the locker door. Fresh. Your heart lurches. You whisper into the empty hall. If you're here, please just let me see you. Nothing moves, but the air feels heavier now. Denser, like someone is listening. You continue down the hall until you reach the old Iced Wing art room. The door hangs slightly open, wood cracked from humidity. You push it gently. It swings inward with a soft moan. Inside, the room looks untouched for decades. Art supplies scattered across a long table, watercolor paints dried into brittle shells, paper yellowed like old bones. And on the far wall, rows of drawings taped up in uneven lines. Dozens of them. Kids' drawings. Stick figures. Rainbows. Houses. Dogs. The sun with a smiling face. You approach carefully. Each drawing is dated. Then, one drawing stands alone. Newer paper. Whiter. Cleaner edges. Untouched by dust. You reach for it with a trembling hand. A house drawn in crayon. A parent holding a small child's hand. Underneath, written in the same handwriting as the note from the sweater. I didn't want you to be alone. Your throat closes. You grip the paper with both hands as something hot and sharp pricks behind your eyes. You hear your child's voice again. Not from the tape, not from the voicemail, but from memory. Mom, can you stay with me tonight, just one night? You couldn't. Not that night. Not the night that mattered. You close your eyes, fighting the crushing pressure in your chest, and try to steady your breath. A soft sound interrupts you. Tap. You open your eyes. A single crayon, red, rolls across the table toward you. It moves slowly, as if guided by a gentle push. It stops right at the table's edge. Perfectly placed in front of you. You stare. A tremor of cold spreads across your scalp. Someone is here. Someone wants you to follow. You pick up the red crayon. It feels warm in your hand, unnervingly so, like it was held moments ago by small fingers. Then you notice something under the drawings. A faint trail of red marks on the floor. Scribbles. Lines. Leading out of the room like breadcrumbs. You tighten your grip on the crayon and step over the threshold. Your phone vibrates again. Another voicemail. Your stomach drops. You lift the phone, hesitating only long enough for your lungs to fill with one more breath. You press play. Static. Then your child's voice. "You're close, Mom, don't be scared, please keep going." Your hand trembles so violently, the phone nearly slips. But you hold on. Because this is the closest you've felt to your child since the day they were taken from you. You follow the red marks down the hall. The building creaks. A door slams somewhere in the distance. Wind pushes through cracks in the windows, rattling metal and whispering down the corridors. At the end of the hall is a door you've never seen before. Unmarked. Thick. Paint peeling in long strips. The red crayon marks end at its base. Your heart pounds out a warning. But your grief pulls you forward anyway. You reach for the handle. Cold. Too cold. You twist it slowly. The latch clicks. The door begins to open. And something moves behind it. Not away from you. Toward you. A shape. Small. Barefoot. Stepping closer. You step back instinctively, hand tightening around the sweater, pulse thundering against your ribs. The figure stops just inside the doorway. You shine your flashlight onto the floor first. Bare feet. Dusty. Child-sized. Then slowly the light crawls upward. Shenzo. Nice. A small torso in a faded shirt. Your breath shakes out of you as you lift the light higher. And the childish voice whispers, "Mom." The word sinks into you like a knife dipped in memory. "Mom." You don't breathe. You don't move. Your heartbeat stumbles, then rushes forward so fast it feels like your ribs can't contain it. Your flashlight hangs in your hand like dead weight, its beam trembling across the small figure in the doorway. Bare feet. Dust covered. A faded shirt too large for a child that size. Skin pale as if dimmed by years without sunlight. But the face. You can't see it fully. Not yet. The flashlight flickers the moment you try to raise it higher. The child tilts their head. A familiar angle. One you've seen during bedtime stories, scraped knees, mornings when the world was too big and they'd ask you for just one more hug. Your knees weaken. "Don't disappear," you whisper, though you're not sure if the words leave your mouth or if they exist only in the space between breath and thought. The figure takes a tiny step out of the doorway. Your pulse spikes. Every instinct screams at your muscles to run. But something deeper, older, refuses to let you move. The child lifts their chin. Just a little. And you see part of the face. Enough. Your stomach drops. The shape of the nose. The curve of the mouth. Features you know as intimately as your own reflection. It's them. It's your child. Not exactly as you remember. Younger, maybe 5 or 6. But impossibly, undeniably them. You whisper their name before you realize you're speaking. The child flinches. The movement is small but sharp, as if the name itself is too heavy for them to hold. "You remember," they whisper back. Your lungs shake. Your eyes burn. You take a step forward. Then stop. Something is wrong. Their body posture is familiar. But their presence. It's like looking at your child through warped glass. Like they're here and not here, their outline bending subtly at the edges, as though light isn't sure what shape to give them. You force a slow breath. "Sweetheart, how are you?" The child's head turns toward the hallway behind you, ears alert, posture tightening. "They're coming," the child whispers. "You shouldn't be here when they do." Your skin tightens along your spine. Who's coming? The child steps back into the room they emerged from, tiny fingers curling around the doorframe. There isn't much time, they say, voice trembling. You have to see the rest. It's the only way you'll remember. Remember. The word hits you like a cold gust. You try to take another step toward them, but the child's eyes widen with sudden fear. No, they whisper sharply. Not yet. Please go to the music room. That's where it starts. Starts, you breathe. What starts? The child opens their mouth to answer, then stiffens like they hear something you cannot. Their small shoulders rise in a quick panic. They're almost here. Your flashlight flickers again, violently this time. The child's voice softens. Please, Mom, just run for now. Your heart cracks. They called you Mom again. But fear shoves clarity into your limbs. You back away slowly, eyes never leaving their face, even as shadows swallow the details. I'll come back, you whisper. The child nods once. A tiny, fragile motion. Then they step backward into the darkness of the room. The door swings shut on its own, slow and silent, until only a sliver of the child's silhouette remains. And then that too is gone. You stand alone in the hall, the silence so heavy it bends the air around you. A single word escapes your lips. Please be real. But the building answers only with a distant groan from settling beams. You turn toward the direction of the music room. The flashlight buzzes faintly, then steadies, as if regaining purpose. You move down the corridor, each step echoing like it's trying to keep up with your heartbeat. The school seems different now. Less abandoned. Less empty. As if waking from a long, cold sleep. The walls feel warmer. The air's thicker. The scent of old apples follows you in faint waves, brushing against your senses like ghost memories. You pass classrooms with half-open doors. Some you peek into, empty desks, dusty chalkboards, ancient posters curled at the corners. Others you avoid. Instinct tells you not to look into the ones that feel too quiet. When you turn the corner, you stop abruptly. A trail is waiting for you. Not footprints. Not crayon marks. Sheet music. Single pages of it. Scattered like fallen leaves, leading down the hall toward the music room. You kneel and pick one up. The notes are hand-drawn in pencil. Wobbly. Uneven. Exactly the way your child used to draw music notes when they begged you to teach them piano, even though the two of you could never afford lessons. Your throat tightens. You stand and follow the trail. The closer you get to the music room, the colder the air becomes. The floor vibrates beneath your shoes, so faintly you might mistake it for your own heartbeat. The music room door stands half open. Inside, darkness waits like an expectant breath. You push the door fully open. The room is exactly as you remember from your own school years. Tiered risers at the back, old wooden shelves full of dented instruments, music stands scattered in chaotic patterns like metal skeletons. And in the center, a grand piano. The lid is open. The keys exposed. Your breath hitches. That piano wasn't here before. You're sure of it. You step closer, cautious, each movement slow enough to hear your own joints protest. You brush your fingers along the piano's dusty surface. Something catches your skin. A carving. Letters scratched into the wood, small and shaky. Your child's handwriting. Play it, please. Your heart clenches so hard you have to close your eyes against the wave hitting your chest. You lower yourself onto the bench. The wood creaks. Your fingers hover above the keys. The cold feels unnatural, like the piano is holding its breath. You press a single key. A low note pulses through the air. Then the projector in the corner, an old boxy model you hadn't noticed, activates on its own. Light bursts across the room, splashing against the far wall. The piano responds. Not with music, but with a vibrating hum beneath your fingertips. You press another key. The projector shifts to a new image. A hallway. The same one from earlier. Only this time there's someone standing in it. A teacher. Tall. Severe. Back turned to the camera. Your stomach twists. Your child presses another key on the tape. Not you, them. And the image follows the sound. This piano. It triggers memories the projector holds. Memories recorded long before you arrived. Your hands tremble as you begin to play a simple melody when you used to hum while packing your child's lunchbox. The projector flickers. New image. A classroom. Children sitting at desks. One seat empty. Yours. You strike another chord. Hands shaking now. The projection shifts again. This time, your child, standing outside the principal's office, alone, crying silently into their sleeve. Your vision blurs. Tears burn through your lashes. I wasn't there, you whisper. The piano hums low as if answering. You hit the next key by accident. A higher note. And the projector jumps. The image changes too. A stairwell. Concrete. Dim. And your child. Running down it. Chased by a shadow that moves impossibly fast. Your heart stops. A cold bloom spreads in your chest. You whisper into the silence. What happened to you? The piano shakes violently beneath your hands. Then goes still. The projector screen darkens. Static fills the room. Not from the projector. From your phone. It vibrates in your pocket. You lift it with trembling fingers. One new voicemail. No number. You press play. This time, your child's voice sounds terrified. Mom, run, they know you're here. And behind their voice, footsteps, coming closer. From the hallway behind you, the footsteps grow heavier. Slow, measured, each one landing with the weight of someone who knows the hallway by heart. And knows you shouldn't be here. Your pulse bangs against your ribs, fast, uneven, the rhythm of a heart that wants to sprint but can't find its legs. Your hands hover above the piano keys, frozen midair. A faint vibration trembles through the instrument, as if it's breathing under your palms. As if it's urging you to move. But your attention is locked on the doorway behind you. The footsteps stop. Silence. Then a whisper. Not a child's voice this time, but an adult's. Low. Too close. I know you're in there. Your breath catches. You lower yourself instinctively, crouching behind the piano, fingers gripping the bench for balance as you slide silently to the floor. The room feels colder, like a draft just swept in from someplace far deeper, underground than the basement you came from. The doorknob turns. Slowly. Metal scraping metal. A soft creak follows as the door pushes open. You lean sideways, keeping your movements microscopic, just enough to peek beneath the piano's body, the gap between floor and instrument giving you a slit view of the doorway. A pair of shoes steps inside. Men's shoes. Black. Old-fashioned polished leather. Too clean for a building this dead. They stand still for a moment. Listening. The shoes shift slightly. I know you've been playing with things that aren't yours. Your blood chills. Whoever this is. They aren't confused. They aren't surprised. They are expecting you. Your fingers curl around the sweater you're still holding, gripping it so tightly the fabric strains between your knuckles. You press it to your chest, grounding yourself in its familiar weight. The stranger takes one step deeper into the room. Another. Then, he crouches. Your lungs lock. He's lowering himself, as if he knows exactly where to look. The piano vibrates again, a faint hum traveling up the wooden frame and whispering into your bones. Run! You slide backwards slowly, inch by inch, keeping low to the ground. Your thigh bumps against something metallic, one of the scattered music stands. It tips slightly. Your heart stops. The stand wobbles, lines, and teeters toward the floor. You shoot a hand out, catching it before it lands. Barely. Its cold metal rungs sting your palm. But the man heard the movement. His shoes pivot sharply toward you. You hold your breath until spots bloom across your vision. A moment passes. 2. His shoes move again, but this time toward the piano. He stands now. You can see his shadow stretching across the floor, long and thin like a crack splitting open the room. He reaches the piano bench. Slowly, deliberately, he drags his fingers across the wood. The sound is soft, but it scrapes against your nerves like sandpaper. You were always curious, he murmurs. His voice is strangely calm. Familiar even, in a way that makes the hairs on your arms rise. But some doors stay shut for a reason. Your stomach knots. You know that tone. You've heard it in teachers who treated power like currency. People who spoke as if the world owed them obedience. But you don't recognize the voice itself. Not fully. His foot nudges the pedal. It rings a soft metallic note into the air. A glint of sound cutting through the tension. He lines down. You can see his hand now, long fingers, pale skin, a faded scar running across the knuckle. He presses a single key. A high note sings out. The projector, silent until now, flares violently to life, splashing light across the wall in a fractured burst. The image is blurry, distorted. But you recognize the place instantly. The music room. Years younger. Filled with children. And front and center, your child, sitting at the piano. Small, focused, hands hovering over the keys with a mixture of fear and hope. The man at the piano in the present smiles softly at the projection, a smile that doesn't belong anywhere human. They were always special, he mutters, a little too special. Your throat burns. You want to scream. You want to leap at him, tear him away from the piano, demand answers. But you can't. Not yet. He presses another key. Another scene flashes. Your child running down the hallway you stood in moments ago, tears in their eyes. You swallow a sob. Why were they running? From what? From who? The man whispers. You never asked why they vanished that day, did you? Ice slices through your chest. Vanished. You shut your eyes, teeth clenching, because you know that's not the truth. Your child didn't vanish. They died. The doctors told you. The accident. The fall. The impact. But suddenly your memories feel thin. Like pages in a book you've read too many times, worn down until details blur. You open your eyes. The figure stands now, leaving the piano, walking toward the exit. Follow the rest of the story then, he says quietly, if you have the courage. The lights flicker. The projector screen snaps to black. Footsteps fade down the hall. Then silence returns. It takes a moment before you can breathe again. Your knees tremble as you crawl out from behind the piano. You climb to your feet, gripping the edge of the instrument to steady yourself. Your child's carved message stares back at you. Play it, please. You press a hand to the keys. They're warm now. Unnaturally warm. The sweater in your hand feels suddenly heavier, like someone small is leaning against your side. You whisper into the dim room. I'm going to find you, I swear it. As you turn to leave, the projector flickers once more. Not fully activating, just sputtering an unintentional final breath of light. In that brief flicker, you catch a frame, one image, too quick to fully register. But your heart feels it. It was your child. Not 5, not 6. Older. How'd you remember them? Standing in a dark room, reaching toward the camera, mouth open in mid-breaths, eyes wide, terrified. The light clicks off. Your skin crawls. You back out of the music room, heart pounding in uneven bursts. There is no turning back now. Your child is somewhere in this building. In its rooms, its recordings, its impossible memories. And if someone else is here, then you're not just uncovering the truth. You're racing it. You step into the hallway again, and for a moment, the world tilts. Not physically, not like the floor shifts or your vision blurs, but emotionally. That kind of internal tilt that happens right before the truth hits you like a tidal wave. Your child didn't die. Not the way you were told. They vanished. The thought burrows under your skin like ice. You grip the sweater tighter. Its tiny weight feels unbearably heavy now. A gravity that pulls at your memory, distorting the edges of everything you thought you knew. A draft brushes your cheek. Cold, wet, almost like breath. You turn sharply, raising your flickering flashlight. The hallway is empty, but the scent lingers. Apples again. A whisper of sweetness. Your child. Always apples. Your voice cracks. The words taste like grief. I'm here, please, just let me see you again. No answer. Just the soft creak of old wood somewhere deeper in the building. You take a step, then another. Halfway down the hall, your phone vibrates. You don't want to look. You don't want to hear another terrified message, not when your heart is already raw and pulsing too close to the surface. But this time, the vibration keeps going. Longer, sharper, almost urgent. Your thumb trembles as you lift the screen. One new voicemail. Timestamp now. You hit play. Static, then breathing. Light, vast, panicked. Your child's voice. Your older child. The voice you last heard years ago. Mom, please, please don't let him. A crash erupts in the background. Something breaking. A muffled scream. Your blood freezes. Another voice. Deep low, the same man from the music room. Cuts through the recording. You shouldn't have come back here. Your child whimpers. The voicemail ends with a sharp, sickening click. You stagger back, spine pressing against the cold metal of a locker. The shock of it shoots up your bones like electricity. Where are you? You whisper, voice cracking through the emptiness. No answer. You slide down the locker and sit on the dusty floor for a moment, fighting the dizziness threatening to pull you under. The smell of apples curls around you again, faint and ghost-like. You look down the hall. A door at the far end stands slightly ajar. Light seeps through the crack, thin, pale, unnatural. Not electric light. Projector light. Your heart lurches. You stand, legs unsteady, and walk toward the glow. Each step feels heavier, like the air thickens the closer you get. Your hand reaches the door. You push it open with your fingertips. Inside is a small media room. Rows of wooden chairs, a wall-mounted TV from the early 90s, and a large rolling cart with an old VHS player perched on top. But the room isn't empty. The projector on the ceiling buzzes softly. And on the screen, your child again. This time older. How they looked a year before the accident. They stand in a dim room, eyes red from crying. They hold their hands out toward the camera, toward you. Please come, they whisper. I don't have much time. The screen flickers. Behind your child in the video, a tall shadow moves. The same shadow that chased them down the stairwell in the projection from the music room. You feel your breath dissolve. The recording shakes violently, then cuts to a new scene. Your child in the cafeteria, sitting alone, staring at the table, their small fingers tracing shapes into the dust. Shapes that look like letters, numbers, messages. You squint. One message becomes clear. Help me. A sob breaks free from your chest before you can swallow it. The tape moves on. New sign. Your child at the top of a stairwell. The same stairwell the school claimed they fell down. Their tiny hands grip the railing so tight their knuckles are white. They turn to look at the camera. At you. And whisper, "Don't believe what they told you." The screen slams to static. Your whole body shakes. You stumble backward, hand over your mouth, breathing in jagged fragments that barely reach your lungs. Everything you thought you knew. Your grief, your memories, your entire understanding of that day, shifts beneath you like a collapsing floor. Why didn't you tell me? You whisper to the empty room. Your voice echoes, then dies. The room door suddenly slams shut behind you. You spin around, flashlight jittering wildly across the walls. The lights flicker. The air pressure drops. The projector sputters back to life, and another image flashes onto the screen. Not your child this time. You, standing in this very hallway years ago. But younger. Lost, holding a hospital clipboard. Your breath collapses inward. You were here, in this school, after the accident. But they told you you'd never come here. That you refused. That you were too broken. The version of you on the screen drops to the floor, crying silently into your hands. You step toward the image, tears blurring your vision. What did you see? You whisper. What did they show you? Why can't I remember? The projector freezes on your crying face, and a whisper breathes directly behind you. Because I made you forget. Your blood turns to ice. You turn. Slowly. The man from the music room stands inches from your face. He's taller than you remembered. His pale eyes shine with something cold and familiar. The kind of familiarity you only feel toward nightmares that follow you through childhood. I kept you out, he murmurs, voice low and almost tender. I kept the truth buried. You stumble back, hand flying to your chest. What did you do to my child? He tilts his head. A smile cracks across his face like a hairline fracture spreading through glass. Your child was special. He steps closer. Too perceptive, too curious. They saw things no one else could. Your throat tightens painfully. You force the words out. Where are they? The man's eyes gleam. They're between places now. You don't understand. But your bones do. Your grief does. Your fear wraps around your lungs like a fist. What does that mean? You breathe. He leans closer, his whisper brushing your ear like cold smoke. It means they never left this school. Your heart stops. Completely. Your child didn't leave. Your child is still here. But before you can speak, before you can scream or run or rip the truth out of his mouth, he steps backward into the projector light and disappears. Gone. Like mist erased from glass. You stand in the flickering darkness of the room, breath shaking, sweater clutched against your chest, mind unraveling as the building groans around you. Your phone buzzes one more time. One last voicemail. You hesitate. Then press play. Your child's voice. Barely a whisper. Barely hanging on. Mom, hurry. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. The voicemail ends, leaving the room thick with a silence that feels alive. Your child's voice still echoes inside your ribs. Thin, trembling, slipping like water through cupped hands. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. Your entire body leans forward as if the words pulled you by the spine. There's no more room for hesitation. No more room for fear. Only one thing remains. Move. You push out of the media room so fast your shoulder clips the doorframe. Pain flares down your arm, but you ignore it, clutching the sweater tighter. As you step back into the hallway, the temperature drops. Not gradually. Violently. Cold sweeps across your face in a gust so sharp it steals your breath. The lights flicker overhead, a chaotic stutter that turns the shadows into frantic, twitching things. And then, you hear it. Not footsteps. Not breathings. A rumble. From somewhere above you. The ceiling vibrates. Dust drifts down like powdered snow. Something is moving on the second floor. Vast. Heavy. Hunting. You don't wait. You sprint down the hall, shoes slapping against the tiles in a rhythm too loud, too exposed. Your flashlight bounces a frantic beam across lockers, peeling paint, posters barely clinging to the walls. Every shadow feels like fingers reaching for your clothes. Every dark corner feels like a mouth waiting to swallow you whole. You hit the stairwell door and shove it open. The hinges scream, a high, protesting shriek that ricochets up the stairwell. Cold air rushes down at you. With it, the smell. Apples. Stronger now. Ripe. Sweet. Mixed with something metallic and wrong. Your chest tightens painfully. You start up the stairs two at a time, gripping the railing with a hand slick with sweat. Halfway up, your phone buzzes. You nearly drop it. Another voicemail. But this one, it isn't just audio. A live notification. A short video file. Your fingers tremble as you tap it open. Static fills the screen, then resolves into an image. A hallway. Second floor. Dim. A small figure stands at the far end, shaking, arms wrapped around themselves. Your child. Older now. The age they were before the world took them away. They look straight into the camera. Straight at you. Their lips tremble. Mom, please hurry, he's coming. Behind them, a tall shadow detaches from the wall. Your heart slams against your ribs. The child's voice cracks. Mom runs. The video cuts. Your breath tears out of you in a ragged gasp. You explode upward, reaching the second floor, landing with a stumble. You nearly fall, catching yourself on the railing. The hallway stretches out before you. Long, dim, silent, but not empty. On the far end, a single classroom door is open. Light spills from it, pale and flickering, like a heartbeat fading in and out. You walk toward it, each step slower than the last. Fear wraps around your ankles like thick vines, trying to pull you back. But grief drags you forward. Grief always wins. Halfway down the hall, a sound stops you cold. A soft, wet sniff. A child's sniff. Your child's. Your hand flies to your mouth as your vision blurs. Baby. Your voice cracks, breaking into a whisper shaped by years of regret. Another sniff. Then a small voice. Fragile as thin glass. Mom. The sound nearly drops you to your knees. You walk faster now. Almost running. When you reach the open classroom, you stop just outside the doorway. Your fingertips brush the chipped frame, as if afraid the touch alone will shatter the moment. Inside, a child sits in the corner. Knees pulled to chest. Face buried in folded arms. Small shoulders trembling. You step inside. The floor creaks beneath your weight. The child lifts their head, and the world breaks open inside you. It's them. Your child. Exactly as you remember. The eyes, the soft curve of their nose, the hair falling messily across their forehead. But paler. Dimmer. Like they're made of dust and dying light. Mom. They scramble to stand, stumbling forward. You found me. You drop to your knees, arms open, tears already spilling. They run into you, small arms wrapping around your neck, their body weight light but real, and you choke on a breath that feels too big for your chest. You hold them tight. Tighter. Terrified you'll pass straight through them. But they're solid. Warm. Alive. And yet, your hand passes through their back for a split second. Just a flicker. Your blood goes cold. The child freezes. Their voice cracks. I can't stay long. You cup their face, your palms shaking violently. No, sweetheart, listen to me. I'm here, I'm right here. I'm not leaving you again. They shake their head, jaw trembling. He won't let me stay. Who? Your voice is raw. Who did this to you? The child's eyes go glossy with fear. He hides in the school. He knows the walls. He knows the dark parts. They grip your shirt tighter. He made everyone forget, even you. Your lungs collapse inward. Baby plays, tell me where you are, where your real body is. They swallow. It's where the school keeps things they don't want to remember. Your heart stutters. The basement, you whisper. They nod slowly, fear blooming across their face. But then their eyes dart past you. Widen. Go pure white with terror. Eyes here. Your body locks. You turn around. And the man stands in the doorway. Not a shadow now. Not a flicker on a screen. A person. Tall. Bone thin. Pale eyes gleaming with something hollow and ancient. He steps inside. Each footfall deliberate. Heavy. Hungry. You pull your child behind you, shielding them with your body, arms outstretched. The man smiles. Not warm. Not human. I told you, he whispers. Some doors stay shut for a reason. Your child presses against your back, trembling. Mom, don't let him take me again. Your heart screams. You step forward. The man's smile fades. His voice lowers to something cold enough to freeze breath. It's too late, they're already fading. You whip around. Your child flickers. Like a weak bulb losing power. Their outline dissolving into drifting dust motes. No. You grab their arms. Your hands pass through them. The child lets out a weak, helpless sob. Mom plays. The man steps closer. The lights die. All of them. The darkness swallows everything. Everything except a single faint beam of projector light. Falling across the floor. Leading back to the basement. The projector beam cuts through the darkness like a lifeline. A single strip of pale, trembling light on the floor. Pointing back toward the stairwell. Toward the basement. Your breath shakes. You clutch the tiny sweater to your chest and feel its softness collapse under your grip. Your child's voice, frantic, cracking, terrified, still echoes inside your ribs. Mom, please, don't let him take me again. The same voice that is now fading. You can't see your child anymore. Not their outline, not their trembling hands, not the desperate way they clung to you. Only the dust remains in the air, swirling in the projector glow like the last remnants of a memory dissolving. The man stands somewhere in the dark behind you. You hear him inhale. Slow, cold, a sound with no warmth, like wind slipping through dead branches. You don't wait. You run. You sprint into the hallway, your shoes hammering against the tiles, your flashlight bouncing wildly as you follow the thin strip of projector light back toward the stairs. Behind you. Footsteps. Measured. Come. Close. He isn't running. He doesn't need to. The building seems to move with him. Lights flicker violently overhead as you race down the hall. Locker doors rattle as if something inside them is banging to be let out. A gust of air slams one shut right beside you, the metal crash ringing in your bones. You reach the stairwell door. It slams shut, right in front of your face. You skid to a halt so fast your ankle twists. You hiss in pain, gripping the doorknob with both hands and yanking. The knob won't move. Not stuck. Held by something on the other side. Your heart thrashes in your chest like a trapped bird. You throw your shoulder into the door. It doesn't budge. Behind you, the footsteps grow closer. You spin around, pressing your back to the cold metal door, breath tearing from your lungs. The hallway is dark, but in the center of it stands a shape. Tall, still, watching you with eyes that gleam like polished bone. The man steps forward, and every light in the hallway dies except one. The exit sign's dying red glow. You don't think. You dive sideways into the nearest classroom, slamming the door behind you and dragging a desk in front of it as fast as your shaking arms allow. You step back, breath ragged, hands on your knees. And you freeze. This isn't a normal classroom. The walls are covered with pinned-up papers. Hundreds of them. Different handwriting. Different years. Missing children. Reports. Photos. Notices. Every one from this school. Your knees nearly buckle. Your child's picture is there too. A photocopy, old and grainy. Pinned right in the center. How? Your voice shreds itself. You step closer, fingers brushing the photo. Why is this here? Why? A chill sweeps through the room. Your phone vibrates. A frantic, glitching buzz that nearly jumps out of your pocket. You pull it out with shaking fingers. The screen is cracked. Pixelated. One new message. Video. Your pulse stumbles. You press play. Static. Then the camera stabilizes on. The basement. Your child stands in the corner of the frame, flickering like a dying candle flame. Their voice trembles. Mom, I don't know how much time I have. You have to come now. Look behind the boiler. That's where. A hand grabs them from behind. A pale, bony hand. Your child screams. Run! The video cuts out with a high-pitched whine. You drop the phone. It hits the tile with a sharp crack. Your breath fractures in your chest. The basement. Behind the boilers. Your child's last message. You shove the desk away from the door. The metal screeches across the tile, and for a moment you swear you hear something on the other side, dragging its fingers down the wood in response. You yank the door open and sprint back into the hall. This time, the stairwell door gives way the moment you touch it. The man is nowhere in sight. You don't look back. You run. Down the staircase. 2 steps at a time. Gripping the railing so hard it burns your palm. The air grows colder with every step down. By the time you reach the bottom, your breath is fogging in front of you. The basement stretches out in a massive, cavernous darkness. But the projector beam still shines. A trembling line on the floor, pointing deeper inside. You walk toward the boiler room. Your legs tremble. Your chest aches. Your lungs feel too small for the air they're trying to hold. You push open the heavy service door. A blast of cold air hits your face. The room is enormous. Pipes weaving overhead like rusted arteries, the massive boiler crouched in the center like some ancient animal. Your flashlight dims. Flickers. Dies. No, plays. You smack it against your palm. Nothing. The only light now is the faint glow leaking from cracks in the basement ceiling, and the subtle, pulsing shimmer around the boiler. Like the air itself is bending, warping, calling. You walk toward the boiler slowly. Your shoes crunch over broken tiles and debris. The smell hits you again. Apples, sweet, rotting. You cover your mouths. You reach the back side of the boiler. There, half hidden behind old pipework, is a door. A small metal service hatch with a heavy latch. Your heart slams. You grip the latch. It's freezing cold. Cold enough to burn your skin. But you don't let go. You pull. The hatch creaks open. Cold air pours out like fog. And inside, a staircase. Narrow, concrete, leading straight down into the dark. In the air, a tiny voice, barely more than breath. Mom hurries. You step inside, and as your foot touches the first stair, lights explode. Not from above, from below. A soft, warm glow that builds and builds, illuminating the passage as if something beneath the school is waking up. You descend the stairs. 5 steps. 10. 15. The temperature rises. Sweat beads on your forehead. The sweetness in the air thickens. And then, you reach the bottom. A massive underground chamber opens before you. And what stands in the center steals the breath straight from your lungs. It is a room. A perfect recreation of your child's bedroom. Their bed, their books, their drawings, their little blue nightlight. But everything is coated in a thin layer of dust, like a memory stored in a museum. The air shimmers at the edges of the room. A figure sits on the bed. Small, head bowed, legs dangling off the side. Your child. Not flickering, not fading. Solid, still, waiting. Mom. They lift their heads slowly, their voice full of fear and hope and exhaustion. You came. You take a step forward, and the floor between you ripples, just slightly, like something underneath is breathing. The ground ripples again. A slow, heavy pulse pushes upward through the concrete like the heartbeat of something buried alive. Dust drifts off the bed frame. Your child jerks in fear, sliding backward across the old mattress until their back hits the wall. Mom. Their voice trembles, thin as frayed thread. He's coming. You take a step toward them. But the ground bulges, rising just enough to force you back a half step. A warning. You swallow hard, tasting dust, metal, and the faint sweetness of apples that seems to cling to the very air down here. You force yourself forward anyway. Because nothing, no man, no shadow, no buried heartbeat will keep you from reaching them now. Your voice cracks as you speak. I'm here, I'm not leaving you again. Your child's eyes shimmer with something between hope and terror. You don't understand, they whisper. This room, it's not real. It's what he made, what he keeps. You look around. The bed, the drawings, the nightlight, the tiny wooden desk. Every part of it is perfect. Your child's room exactly as it was years ago, down to the crooked poster and the stuffed bear on the pillow. But the air around the edges of the room, it shimmers like heat on asphalt. Like the entire space is held together by memory alone. A deep creak rolls through the chamber. And then, footsteps, not from behind you, not from above, from beneath the floor. Your skin crawls as the footsteps move in slow, deliberate circles beneath the concrete. Pacing, hunting, waiting. Your breath tightens. You turn your head slightly, listening. The footsteps stop. A man's voice rises from the floor itself, muffled, echoing through the cement like sound traveling through a body instead of air. You never should have come back here. Your blood goes cold. His voice slithers through the chamber, filling every corner. I kept this place quiet, hidden, undisturbed. The concrete bulges again, this time closer to your feet. Your child gasps. He's trying to break through, they whisper. He's always stronger down here. You crouch beside the rippling floor. Your voice is steady, but your hands tremble. What did he do? Why are you trapped here? Why did everyone forget? Your child shakes their head. Because he made them. He made you. He took me where no one remembers to look. A breath of cold air rises from the cracks in the floor. Then, the concrete splits. Not an explosion. Not a crack. A quiet separation, as if two hands are gently pulling the world apart. A pale hand emerges. Long fingers. A scar across one knuckle. You've seen it before in the music room. On the staircase. On the tape. Your heart slams painfully. He pulls himself up through the floor like a shadow peeling free from a wall. The man rises slowly to full height, tall, thin, his clothes too clean, too neat, his eyes gleaming with a cold intelligence that doesn't belong in a place like this. Your child clings to your shirt, trembling. You step between them and the man without thinking. His voice is calm. So predictable, parents always are. Your chest seizes. You stole my child, you whisper, voice shaking with fury and grief. He tilts his head. No, I preserved them. Your stomach twists. What does that mean? The man steps forward. His shoes don't disturb the dust. He's not quite touching the ground. Children disappear, he says simply. People forget. Time moves on, but not here, not in my school. His eyes gleam with a warped pride. I keep memories, I keep moments, I keep the ones the world loses. You shake your head violently. No, you trapped them, you made everyone forget. They wanted to forget. He raises one pale hand. The school wanted silence, the parents wanted answers, but the truth is louder, the truth must be buried. You step closer to him, anger boiling through your veins. You caused their deaths. The man's face twitches, something between annoyance and satisfaction. Deaths. He laughs softly. No, not death, transition. Your child's voice cracks behind you. Mom, please don't listen to him. You don't turn around. You don't take your eyes off the man. You spit the words through clenched teeth. Give my child back. He shakes his head. They belong to the school now, to its memory, to its walls. He lifts his hand. The rippling air around the room thickens. The night light flickers. The drawings flutter on the wall like something is breathing behind them. Your child screams. Mom, he's breaking the room. The walls distort. The floor trembles. The furniture flickers in and out like a failing signal. You lunge forward, grabbing your child's hand. Your fingers pass through theirs. Only for a second. A terrifying, impossible second. Your child looks down at their own hand, eyes filling with horror. He's taking me, they whisper. He's pulling me back. No, no. You reach again, harder this time. Your hands close around theirs. And this time you feel them. Warm, small, real. The man's eyes widen. That's not possible. You pull your child behind you. The room groans as cracks split the walls. You don't get to decide what's possible, you growl. The man steps forward, raising both hands now. The entire room ripples. And suddenly you see it. Not with your eyes. With memory. The truth slams through you like a breaking dam. Your child didn't fall. They didn't run. They weren't lost. They were taken. Taken into the school's hidden places. The rooms that don't appear on maps. The doors you don't notice until they open. The memories that aren't memories at all. All pulled and shaped by this man. No, Not a man's. A keeper. A custodian of the forgotten. A collector of the lost. A parasite living in the fractures of the school's history. And your child was the one who saw him. The one who realized the hallways shifted. The one who could tell when a room wasn't real. The one who asked too many questions. The one he tried to silence by pulling them into the walls of the school and erasing them from memory. But he failed. Because you remembered. Not with your mind, but with your grief. Your grief was stronger than his erasure. The man snarls, expression cracking like broken porcelain. You can't take them back, they're woven into the foundation. You squeeze your child's hand. Then I'll tear the whole school down. The man lunges. The floor splits beneath him as he charges. Tiles explode upward. Pipes burst. The walls scream with the sound of rending metal. You pull your child to your chest and run straight into the rippling air. The moment you run into the rippling air, the world tears open. Not with a sound, not with an explosion, but with a deep, resonant shift, like two realities grinding against each other. You hold your child tight as light and shadow twist around you, the underground chamber collapsing into a whirl of memories, hallways, voices, and fragments of forgotten rooms. Everything bends inward, walls folding like paper, pipes stretching like molten wire, the boiler groaning as its shape melts into something unrecognizable. Your child buries their face in your shoulder. Mom, don't let go. I won't, you whisper, voice breaking. I never will again. The air around you thickens, swallowing sound. All at once, your feet hit solid ground. A hallway. Familiar. Impossible. You look around. It's the school, but restored. Clean. Alive. Sunlight spills through tall windows. Children's laughter echoes faintly from distant classrooms. No dust. No broken lights. No rotting walls. Just the building as it once was. Your throat tightens. You know this moment. You've lived it. But you don't remember walking here. Your child tugs your sleeve gently. Mom looked. You turn. At the far end of the hallway, a younger version of you walks slowly. Pale, exhausted, holding a clipboard. You watch yourself pause, wiping tears from your cheek with the back of your hand. A teacher approaches, speaking softly, but your younger self barely hears them. For a moment, you stand suspended, watching the version of yourself who existed right after you lost your child. A version who walked these halls, searching for answers the school refused to give. Your child whisper cracks. You came for me back then, but he made you forget. You shake your head. No, I know. But the words falter. Because you see it now. The truth. This hallway. This day. This moment. You came. You searched. You mourned. And the keeper erased everything. Your younger self disappears through a door. The restored hallway dissolves again. The world sinks back into darkness. The real school returns. Broken, abandoned, ancient. Your child flickers in your arms. No, no, don't fade, stay with me. Their voice is a whisper of dust. I don't know if I can. The shadows behind you shift. The keeper appears. Not rising this time, not emerging. Simply forming from the darkness like it condenses around him. He looks weaker now, frayed at the edges, light bleeding through seams in his silhouette. You've done enough damage, he rasps. Leave this place before it takes you too. You stand up slowly, tightening your hold on your child. No, I'm taking them home. The keeper's face twists, a crack spreading across his cheek like broken porcelain. They don't belong to the living world anymore. You meet his eyes. I am their mother. Your voice is steady. Not loud, but unshakably certain. and anything of mine belongs with me. You step forward. The ground trembles under each footfall, dust rising in swirls. The keeper staggers back as if your presence alone pushes him. This school isn't a tomb, you say. It's a memory, and you don't control it anymore. Your child lifts their head, tears streaking their cheeks that flicker with faint light. Mom, I'm scared. I know, you whisper, hold on. You lift your free hand toward the air, toward the darkness around you, toward the fractured reality the keeper built. The school reacts. The walls begin to glow faintly. Not with light, with memory. Laughter echoes. Footsteps. Music. Children calling out to each other in voices untouched by fear. The air fills with warmth. The keeper snarls. Stop, stop. He lunges, but the walls themselves push him back, rippling with the weight of every child he tried to hide, every memory he tried to swallow. Your child starts glowing faintly now. Not flickering, not fading. Glowing. Their small hand grips yours tighter. Mom, I feel warm. That's you, you whisper. That's real you. The keeper screams, voice splitting like a breaking world. His form flickers, fractures, collapses inward as if the building itself is rejecting him. You can't take them, he howls. They belong to the forgotten. You pull your child close, shielding them with your body. No, you say softly, firmly. They belong with me. The final collapse is silent. The keeper crumples into dust. The air stutters. The heat vanishes. The walls sigh like a long-held breath is finally released. Your child stops flickering. Their body solidifies. Weight settling into your arms, small and warm and real. They look up at you, eyes full of something softer than fear. Mom, your voice cracks open. Yes, sweetheart. Am I going home? You press your forehead to theirs, tears slipping onto their skin. Yes, you breathe. Yes, we're going home. The underground room dissolves into a flood of light, white, warm, endless, like every good memory you ever held collapsing into the present moment. You hold your child tighter as the world shifts one final time. And when your feet touch solid ground again, you're standing outside. The school behind you is quiet. Still, completely empty. You look at your child. They squeeze your hand. Let's go, they whisper. You walk away from the building as the sun rises over the horizon. A new dawn warming your face, your child's hand in yours, their tiny steps matching your own. For the first time in years, your grief lifts. Not gone, but transformed. You have your child back. And this time, nothing will take them.